Stand up, New York Giant fans. So how we feeling, Giants fans? How we feeling, Giants fans? We've now had, I don't know, 12, 16 hours, whatever it's been, hours to let it all sink in, let it all digest. The emotional reactions from draft night, had a little time to let it digest. We've had an opportunity now to hear what Joe Shane had to say about the pick, to hear what Brian Dable had to say about the pick. You've had all your options now to go to ESPN, WFAN, and hear what everybody else has to say about the pick and what the New York Giants decided to do last night. So how are we feeling after about 15, 16 hours after that draft pick, Giants fans? Because I let it all sink in. I thought about it all last night, and I went back to the thought, and I said, we just got the third best player in the draft with the 6th pick. We just filled one of our biggest needs on this team. For the first time in forever, the New York Giants finally have a number one wide receiver. And I like it just as much as I did last night. I love what the New York Giants did day number 1. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do day number 2. But thank you to everybody for being here, man. What's going on there? Grinding, man. What's going on there? Dark. What's going on there? Grizzly. Chrisley in the chat. McCann in the chat. Infinity in the chat. What's going on there? Strider. What's up, Ryu? What's up, Chris Tyler? What's going on? Zany. What's going on, Tyler? Big Blue in the chat. JC Glazer. Alvin in the chat. Yeah, a little bit of a surprise. A little bit of surprise. I called out sick. I told you I was gonna. I gotta, I had to. I was up till 2 in the morning talking to you guys, recapping the draft last night. So I said it go live for about an hour and a half or so. Midday, of course, will be live on the channel tonight. The draft's at 7, probably be live around 6:25, 6:30. But figured I'd talk to you guys. A lot of you guys are gonna still have the draft on your mind, what the New York Giants decided to do last night. All the rumors that you've heard. I see people now saying that the New York Giants had the opportunity to trade down. That's all well and good. What was the offer? What was the offer? Don't tell me they had the option to trade down. What was the offer? I'm not trading down for a second-round pick. Not when I have the opportunity to take a top 3, 4 player in the draft. What was the offer? Was I getting a future first? That's the only way you trade down. So, and I don't think that offer was there. But we'll see how it all plays out tonight. What's up there, Jacob? Tyrone says A+ grade. Did you think that? Yes, I do. Yes, I think it was a dirty play, Richard. Antoine says, I get wanting to surprise DJ, but I don't get to replace him no matter what, people. I mean, I get it. I understand where they're coming from. Fans want hope. It's the most important position on a football team, so I get it. But I'm always of the belief it's the same theory I had in 2019. In 2019, I wanted Josh Allen over Daniel Jones. Why? Because I thought that Josh Allen, well acknowledging that the quarterback is the most important position on a football team, I thought that Josh Allen was an elite prospect at one of the most important positions on a football team, and I didn't think that Daniel Jones was. And the same thing last night. I thought that Malik Nabers was an elite prospect at one of the 4 or 5 most important positions on a football team when you're talking about a number 1 alpha wide receiver, and I thought that J.J. McCarthy or Penix wasn't. So I'm happy that the New York Giants didn't do what I think would have been a mistake. Everybody's going to be entitled to their opinion, so I get it. But I'm glad that the New York Giants, in my opinion, did not force a quarterback pick last night. And I'm glad that they got a long-term piece at the wide receiver position. What's going on there? WSSP, thanks for popping in. And yes, absolutely, rest in peace to Corey Cunningham, of course, the former tackle for the New York Giants, passed away today, if you haven't heard. So, yeah, obviously, prayers go out to his family. Jason says, of course, we have to see it on the field, but where do you see our receiving core? How can we be a question mark? And how has Embiid not thrown out of the game? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a playoff game and they're at home, but I agree with you. Probably should have been. As far as the wide receiver goes for the Giants, I mean, I really have to look around the league. But I think before last night, the Giants receiving core had to be in the bottom 5 in the league. And I'm not saying we didn't have talent. We did. Maybe bottom 7. But we didn't have a number 1. We didn't have a number 1. And you look around, there's a lot of teams in the league that have multiple number 1s or 1As and 1Bs. So, yeah, I think after last night, if Nabers is what I think he's going to be, may not be right out of the gate. Give him a little bit of time. He's a rookie. But if Nabers, and he's 20, but if Nabers turns out to be what I think he's going to be, I think we're going to have a league average receiving core with potential to be even better. If a guy like a Jalen Hyatt could take a big step because of this, Wandell, so on and so forth. So we'll see. But I think we're at least league average, which is a huge improvement over where we were 2 years ago when Joe Schoen took the job. When Joe Schoen took the job, the New York Giants had the worst wide receiving core in football. And now I think we're league average. And we'll see where we go from here. He also improved the pass rush significantly since he's gotten here. He had a Kayvon Thibodeau, and now, of course, he had a Brian Burns. And you got to think the offensive line will be better next year. How much better, we'll see. But, I think Joe Schoen did a good job addressing the needs on this team this offseason. What's up, Afghanistan, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. And let's see. And I appreciate that, Nichols. Sign OBJ. I don't think that's going to happen. I know people say that every year. Young Yab says, would you be okay with Rattler at 70 or 107? I'd be okay with it. Yeah, I mean, the Giants, it's not what I want, but I'd be okay with it. The Giants brought him in for a top 30 visit, so you have to figure it's at least a possibility. My head, no. At 47, certainly not for me. You didn't bring up 47. You said 70. At 47 for me, and if they do it, they do it. They must really like him. But for me at 47, I look at it like there's way too many talented prospects still on the board. There's a lot of good cornerbacks that dropped, good defensive linemen, good offensive linemen. I want the Giants to get a guy that can really make an impact on this team long-term. A guy like a Spencer Rattler is a complete crapshoot. So not at 47. If they want to go that route at 70, have at it, Joe. But I don't think that's what they will do. If you've listened to Joe Schoen, he has basically said it all along. And I think at this point, you have to take him at his word that he doesn't feel the need to have to take a quarterback. I'm sure if he really likes one in a certain spot, he will, but he's not going to force a quarterback pick. So I don't think we'll take Rattler. I do think it's a strong possibility we could take a quarterback day 3, just based off the things Shane has said. He has said it's a deep class, but we'll see. Maybe he has Rattler really high, and he, maybe he's a top 35 prospect for him, and he likes him at 47. We'll see. Wouldn't completely rule it out, but I'm not predicting it. And Jason says, Slayton sat out of OTAs. Do you see a scenario where we trade him? That's been a big talking point on Twitter, Jason, about Darius Slayton. And I get it because the voluntary, whatever it was, voluntary camp, he didn't show up. Keyword is voluntary, but I get it. A team-first mentality. Everybody else showed up. They all got their bonuses. Darius Slayton held out. The way I look at that is Darius Slayton's in his contract year. It's similar to Saquon Barkley last year. Like, he doesn't want to run the risk of getting hurt before he has to start to put his body on the line. And he's probably trying to get an extension, and he's trying to use any little bit of leverage he can. I'm not going to hate Darius Slayton for that, but ultimately, do I think the Giants are going to trade Slayton? No. I think Slayton's a team guy, and I think he'll be back with this team this year. I do. He probably feels like he did right by the organization a few years ago. He took a bit of a discount to come back with the team. When he was a free agent, he probably took a little bit less than he could have gotten from Atlanta to come back with the team. And he probably feels like, well, it's time for the Giants to do right by me. So I understand where he's coming from, but I don't think the Giants are going to trade Darius Slayton. I think he'll be on the roster next year. But hey, they could, but I don't expect it. I think they're going to try to keep, they need some good depth at that position, right? Right now, they got 4 talented receivers, if you include Slayton, that you feel like you could, depend on to a certain extent going into next year, now with the addition of Malik Nabers. So I think they'll keep him. I'd be surprised if they let him go. I don't think they'll trade him. How much would you really get for him, if we're being honest? How much would you get for Darius Slayton? Maybe you get a 5th-round pick, but you're not going to get a whole lot. I'd sooner keep Darius Slayton. As a matter of fact, I said it this offseason for the right price, and I don't know what Darius Slayton is asking for. I would be open to extending Slayton if the deal made sense. Like, 2 years or 3 years, $9 million a year, or something like that, where you could spread the money out, create a little bit more cap flexibility this year. I'd be fine with that. The guy's still only, 25 years old. I don't think they're going to trade him. And Bob, thank you for being a member, says, the only thing I worry about is throwing that much money on a 20-year-old, but I love the pick. We need a number 1 wide receiver, but a bad. I just hope he has good people. Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll find out. But I don't think Joe Schoen would have made that big of an investment in Malik Nabers if he had real character concerns for him. And we'll see if it ends up being that way. Joe Schoen's going to look like a fool, but I have confidence that they did their due diligence. Neil says, hi, Chris, stoked for the draft. Hey, neighbors. You and me both, man. Can't wait for today. And we'll see who the Giants end up drafting. I think there's a lot of options at 47 that we'll talk about throughout the stream. I'm sure a lot of you guys have ideas of guys that you feel the New York Giants should take. But for me right now, kind of like I said last night, my head with the second pick, Chris Jenkins on the defensive line. BB on the offensive line, if they want to go that route. You got Fisk from Florida State, the defensive tackle. And then at cornerback, you got Kool-Aid McKinstry. You got Cooper DeJean, who is probably, if not the best overall player still left, one of the best overall players still left. And I know many feel he projects more to be a safety, but certainly a position the New York Giants could target. Tyler Nubin's a guy I like. Like, there's a lot of options here. Sanistro, the cornerback or nickel cornerback from Michigan, another option for the New York Giants, potentially at 47. So Giants have a lot of options here with this pick. So I think we're going to fill a need. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think they'll trade up, but hey, maybe if they really like one of these guys, they do. But that's where my head's at. I think it's going to be secondary. If you look at Joe Shane's history, I posted it today on Twitter. I was looking at his past drafts. If you look at Joe Shane's history, now that he's had 2.5 drafts, we'll call it, in the first 3 rounds, he has had how many picks? He's had 2000. His first draft, he had 2 picks in the first round. He had 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. Last year, he had 3 picks in the first 3 rounds. So his first 8 picks from within the first 3 rounds since he's been the general manager. 3 have been a wide receiver: Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, and then of course, last night getting Malik Nabers. 3 have been on the offensive line: Josh Azudu, John Michael Schmitz, and Evan Neal. 1 has been on the defensive line. That, of course, being Kayvon Thibodeau. And technically 2, right? Because they traded the second-round pick this year to get Brian Burns. And then the last one was on a cornerback, Deonte Banks, last year. So that tells me, like we all know, Joe Shane's a guy that's going to go for position. He values, strength of position, right? And you hear him talk about it all the time when he talks about the contracts. He even said it last night. He said it after he drafted Malik Nabers. Well, you see what these wide receivers are getting paid, $35 million. So he makes a concerted effort to draft guys that play positions that obviously are thought to be the most important from around the league. That's why they get paid what they do. So I would expect Joe Shane today to go corner with one of these 2 picks, or edge, corner, edge, maybe interior defensive line. Their market's going up as well. But that's where my head's at. I could see both picks being on the defensive side, and I could certainly see an offensive lineman. But, of course, they put a lot of resources into the offensive line in free agency. But that's where my head's at, man. I think we're going to go corner and defensive line. If I had to make a pick right now, corner and defensive line. And B. Chris says, I hope Jones will find a connection with Nabers. I mean, I think we all should. If he finds a connection with the Nabers, the Giants will have hopefully we'll have a good offense this year. So I think we all should hope that, man. I think we all should hope that. Let's see. I hope the receivers keep flying off the board in the second round. Yeah, I don't think we're going to double up on wide receiver. James Marshall says, Sal from WFAN, the pick was the stupidest thing they could have ever done. I mean, I posted about it on Twitter. I think that's stupid to say that. First off, if Joe and I heard that he was criticizing the fact that they didn't trade up for Drake May. You can't force New England to trade out. People that make that argument, that's stupid. If New England is not willing to trade out of that pick, what can you do? And I always knew New England wasn't going to trade out of that pick unless they got offered the most ridiculous offer of all time. There's no way it was ever going to happen. They need a quarterback, new GM, new head coach. Their fan base would have destroyed them if they got anything less than like 3 first-round picks plus. It wasn't going to happen. So I don't know how you could kill him for not getting Drake May. And then he said that they should have traded back. Well, tell me what the offer was. Because if the offer was, a pick swap from 6 to 11 and I get a second-round pick, I'm not doing that. I have the opportunity to take the 3rd best player overall in the entire draft. I have to get a future first if I'm trading down to even consider a trade in that spot. I have one of the top 3 or 4 players in the entire draft sitting in my lap. So, yeah, I heard a lot of what he had to say, and I disagree with most of it. So that's my thoughts on it, man. And Pete says, there's my guy. How you doing, Chris? I'm feeling very zen. Quarterback clarity does that to me. What's up, Pete, man? Good to see you. Listen, I know you wanted the quarterback. I know a lot of Giants fans in here wanted the quarterback, and I get it. But I think if you're being rational and fair, you can't kill Joe Shane for not forcing a pick at that position. Because what happens if you do that? If you got to be fully committed to that guy, you end up with Daniel Jones all over again. You end up with a guy that you want to replace as a fan within 2 or 3 years. You have to be completely bought in. And Joe Schoen clearly, all the evidence suggests that Joe Schoen clearly would have drafted a quarterback last night if he was completely bought in. They interviewed every quarterback under the sun. They supposedly offered a trade package, multiple trade packages to New England to go up and get Drake May. That was their guy. They couldn't get him. So at that point, as a fan, what do I want my GM to do? Well, I don't want him to force a pick at the quarterback spot. You take the best available player on your board at the most important position within reason. And the strength of this draft class was the wide receiver spot. He ended up getting one of the top 3 or 4 players in the draft. It's hard to, in my opinion, it's hard to kill him for that. Let's see. You think trading up or down in the second round? I don't have the value at 47. Second round. People asked me this last night, Anton. I think it's more likely we trade down than trade up, just because of our lack of picks. That we only have 5 more picks remaining. But if they really like a player, it's certainly in play. With how the draft went at quarterback at 6 would have been a reach rather than get Jones Jr., get BP. Yeah, that was always my thought, man. You staying on through round 3? No, no. Hanging out with you guys for a little midday stream. Talk to you guys, get your thoughts about the draft. But no, we'll be live tonight for the draft to talk about rounds 2, rounds 3. But no. Let's see. We could trade up. We could. I just don't think we will. Craig, good to see you, man. A lot of good players going in the first 10 picks today. I want that Tennessee running back in the 3rd. Impressive player. I think his name is Jalen Wright, if I'm not mistaken. You're talking about the dude that ran like a 4.35 out of Tennessee. Yeah, I think running back starts to enter the conversation at pick 70. I think we will take a running back in this draft. It's either going to be at pick 70 or the 4th round. I think a good chance would be one of those 2 rounds. But there's a lot of running backs they could take there. Blake Corum, if he were to fall, he's a possibility. I definitely think the Giants could go running back and add another weapon to this offense with our 2nd pick today. I think it's at least a possibility. Let's see. I want quarterback Spencer Rattler in the 3rd. We'll see, Joe Schoen. Art, what's going on, man? He says, of everyone in the 2nd round at pick 47, fate of the New York Giants on the line. The Martians have the death beam pointed at MetLife. You better hit this pick. I want Cooper DeJean. I would love him. One of my favorite players in this draft, but I'm leaning he won't be there. I've told you guys, man, I want Chris Jenkins. I mean, if Cooper DeJean's there, I want him. I like Kool-Aid. But I would love Chris Jenkins. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of guys I'd like with that pick. Why did we not get any comp picks? Well, Eddie, that hasn't been announced yet. The comp picks and we will. We're going to get a comp pick for Xavier McKinney. I think it's going to be a 4th from what I read. There's like a website where you could see the projected comp picks. Last I checked, you know what? Let me see if I can find it for you, Eddie, actually. Hold on. I'll pull it up for you. Hold on one second. Last I checked, I think we were getting another comp pick. I think we were getting like a 4th and a 7th. But let me just check. And again, these are estimates right now, but here it is. So the Giants right now, according to the chart, let me pull up the NFC East. Where is it? AFC East, AFC North. Why can't I find the Giants? Oh, here we go. The Giants right now, according to the... Oh, wow. It changed. I looked at this like 3 weeks ago. I don't think this is accurate. This can't be accurate. Right now, it's saying we're only getting a 7th round pick. But to me, that doesn't make any sense because when you look at the contracts, McKinney was $17 million APY. They have Drew Lock at $5 million, offsetting it. $10 million for Runyon, $7 million for Illuminor, and $5.5 million for Singletary. But you have $6 million for Taylor, $7.5 million for Robinson, $12.5 million for Saquon, and $17 million for McKinney. They have us just getting a 7th round pick out of that. There's only so many picks that could be given out. So maybe it's because other teams didn't bring in anybody and they lost so many players. Like you look at who was the team they just had there that's getting 4 picks? That's why it's hard to keep up with this, because it changes anytime somebody leaves a team or goes to a team. But I guess maybe there's 32 other picks that offset it because teams didn't bring in players. But last I had checked, the Giants were going to be getting a like the Cardinals, for example. You look at them, they're going to end up getting a 4th for Jonah Williams as of now, a 5th for Justin Jones, and a 5th for Sean Murphy-Bunting because they didn't bring anybody in. Their only free agent signing was Marquise Hollywood Brown. So maybe that must be what it is. There must have been 32 other spots where higher than the Giants. But yeah, we're only going to get a 7th round pick, at least according to the estimates right now. That may change, but at least according to the estimates right now. Let's see. Pete says, I agree. I never want to force a pick, especially a quarterback. And by all accounts, Nabers is a stud. I'm just mad at the Pats for not taking our deal and DeVito for winning 3 games. Yeah, I mean, no. Burns didn't go against it, Samuel. Burns, because we traded for him. That doesn't go against the comp formula. That wasn't it. Let's see. But yeah, I'm not mad. I mean, I guess I am, but I can't kill New England, because if the Giants were in the same spot, I would have wanted them to take Drake May. So I understand it. I always expected it. It's why I went in, tried to go in logical. And anytime people would say, let's trade up and get Drake May, I said, this is probably not going to happen. But, if it did, that would have been great. But because I do love Drake May, I think he's going to be really good. I don't know if he's going to be really good there, at least to start, because they got a really bad situation. But, yeah, if the trade opportunity was there, I'm sure the Giants would have done it if it made sense. But obviously it didn't. And I'm not going to kill DeVito. He went out there and he tried to compete. You can't really kill him for that. MYG31 says, Atlanta Falcons must be the dumbest franchise picking Michael Penix with the 8th pick. That was definitely the biggest shocker last night. And it wasn't so much that I was shocked that Penix went top 10, because quarterbacks are so hard to predict. Like, they could, once you get out of the elite prospects, they go anywhere from 8 to 40, and, depending on how teams feel about the position. So I wasn't stunned that he went in the top 10. I was stunned where he went. The fact that the Atlanta Falcons already have Kirk Cousins, they must have really liked him. I mean, that's the only thing that makes any sense there, because you're committed to Cousins for at least the next 2, probably 3 years. Penix is going to be 27 in 3 years if Cousins is the starter for the next 3 years. So at that point, he's 27. He's only got a year left on his rookie deal, plus the 5th-year extension. So they must have really liked him. But that was certainly a questionable pick. If they took him later first round, different story. But when you take a guy that high in today's NFL, you expect that guy to be starting by week 3, week 4, week 5. So that was a bit questionable, for a team that you would think would try to get a piece that could help them for the here and now with a quarterback like Kirk Cousins. So I was surprised, very surprised. Let's see. Hey, Chris, why'd you see J.J. McCarthy be the rookie of the year leading the Vikings to the playoffs? I wouldn't be surprised about that, but it's a completely different scenario than what he would have inherited here. But I mean, look at the spot that guy's put in. He's got one of the best tight ends in football. He's got the best wide receiver in football, and he's got Jordan Addison. He comes here, he doesn't have Malik Nabers. He's got Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson. So it's completely different. It's apples and oranges. But where J.J. McCarthy ended up, sure, he could have a really good rookie year. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And Cruzon says, you heard the Vikings tried to trade with the Chargers to get Nabers. I actually saw the video on that, Cruzon, this morning on Twitter. I saw Mike Florio say that. If there's some legitimacy to that, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Malik Nabers was a top 3 or 4 player in this entire draft class. So it's just funny that Minnesota would be the team to want to do that. But we all know they love wide receivers. But it's a little weird that they would be the team that want to come up and do that, because like I just said, they already have a plethora of weapons. But I always thought that was a possibility that a team could have tried to trade up for one of these wide receivers. I mean, obviously I thought the quarterback naturally would be more likely, But I always thought a team like the Jets or a team like the Bears at 9 could be potential teams that could try to leapfrog the Giants to potentially get a guy like a Malik Nabers or a Marvin Harrison Jr. So I wasn't surprised that a team was looking to come up for one of them. I was a bit surprised that it was the Minnesota Vikings, if that's accurate. What's up? Caesar says, you think the Falcons are going to trade Cousins? No, I do not. I think they're trying to copy the Green Bay model. It's just different the way that they're doing it because of how much they're going to have to pay him to start. But I think they look at it like, let's let this kid sit and learn behind one of the better, top 10, 12, 13 quarterbacks in the league. Let him learn for 2 or 3 years. We really like him as a long-term project, but we got our guy right now with Cousins. They paid him $180 million or whatever it was. So, no, I think Cousins will be the starter. And Penix will probably, be the guy that replaces him in maybe 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be. But no, I don't think they're trading Kirk Cousins. Can you read my last comment? All right, let me try, Mike. Did you hear the Patriots and Vikings call? Yeah. No, I didn't hear about Justin Herbert. I mean, I would be stunned if they traded Justin Herbert. Anton says, what do you think of the Waller situation? At what point do you just cut him? At this point, I hope that he retires because his heart's not in it, man. Darren Waller doesn't want to play for this team next year. At this point, I hope he retires. If he plays, great. He's another weapon, but I hope he retires at this point. I don't think his heart's in it. So let the Giants save $7 million if he retires on the cap, and that'll help pay for this year's draft class. Let's see. Stanley says, hey, Chris, I want the Giants to draft Ali out of Marshall because his skill set is close to Saquon Barkley. There's a lot of good running backs in this class. Let me pull up the running backs. There were who's the guy that I think he's like a 4th or 5th round guy. He ran like a 4.3. He's the guy that I got my eye on today too in like the 4th or 5th round. Let me look at the. There's a lot of good running backs in this class. Let's see. Trey Benson is the most people's top, and he was the only guy we brought in for top 30. So clearly a guy that you got to figure could. Like if the Giants make a somewhat surprising second-round pick, that could be him. He was the only guy that they brought in at the running back spot. Clearly in play at pick 70 if they don't take him at 47 if he's there. Jonathan Brooks. Braylon Allen is a guy I like. He's huge. He's 245 pounds, 6'2". He gives those like Brandon Jacob vibes. So maybe a 4th-round target for the Giants. Jalen Wright, as mentioned before by Cruzon, super explosive right out of Tennessee. So another guy maybe you can get in round 4. Marshawn Lloyd, Bucky Irving got injured out of Oregon. Blake Corum, another guy. So there's a lot of guys. The dude from Estime, I think it is, from Notre Dame. He's a guy that's interesting. So there's a lot of guys that the New York Giants could potentially target. Early day 3, late day 2 at that position if they want to go that route to get another playmaker on this team. Let's see. And Dylan says, I've trusted Joe since he got hired, but him not forcing a quarterback pick with JJ on the board gives me so much confidence in the process. Let's go Big Blue. He hasn't forced a quarterback pick since he's been here. I mean, 2021, let's be honest. If there was a quarterback worth drafting, he probably would have done it. But 2021, didn't force a quarterback pick when fans were calling for it. 2022, he did what he felt was the most responsible thing, being where we were picking. He signed Jones to a deal you can get out after 2 years if things go sour. And then this year, clearly could have taken a quarterback, and he didn't force it, which some fans may be upset about, and I understand that. But at the same time, I like that I have a general manager that doesn't fold to what he knows would be regarded by the fan base as the most popular move because he doesn't feel it's in the best interest to build his football team. I like that. I feel like you have a responsible general manager. He takes that position very seriously. He's not going to just make a pick to make a pick. So, yeah, I'm happy he didn't force that pick. I know a lot of fans are not, but I'm happy he didn't force that pick. Let's see. Mick says, I think the Giants will look cornerback, but if one of their guys aren't there, they will guard it. I'm with you. right now, I mean, the thing is, I don't know if he's going to be there. If Kool-Aid's there, I think he's a possibility. Maybe Melton. Most people feel he's more of a third-round guy, but he's a possibility. Andrew Phillips out of Kentucky. I think those are the three corners that they brought in for top 30 visits that I would, if they're going corner, I think it'll be one of those three guys today, if they go corner. Because if you look back at recent history for the Giants, a lot of their day two picks have been guys that they brought in for top 30 visits. So it makes sense. So those are the three names I'm looking at if they're going corner. Melton, Phillips, Kool-Aid. Isaac's another guy you want to keep your eye on today. If they want to go pass rusher, he's more of a third-round guy, possibility. Sinnott, if they want to go tight end in the third round, maybe the fourth round if he gets there. Out of Kansas State, they brought him in for a top 30 visit. Benson, as we mentioned earlier, the running back. So those are the guys I'm looking at. I think our two picks today will probably be on this list, our top 30 visits. Unless somebody falls that they didn't expect. JC says, Joe making deals today. I see a trade down defensive line pick. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we trade down. And like I said earlier, I think it's more likely we trade down than we trade up. Peter says, someone on Twitter recommended extending Shane and Dable now to squash the entire hot seat narrative. It's not going to happen, but I agree with the idea. Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, that's a great idea. But for me, and listen, I'm a guy that wants them to be here for at least 5 years. Like, I want them to really get a real opportunity to build this team the way that they want to. But at the same time, if I'm Mara, you can't predict what's going to happen in the future. Like, let's say Dable completely flops next year and he does a horrible job. He handles the media poorly. The coaching staff can't stand the guy. You don't know. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't see the need to further commit to Brian Dable right now. I understand the logic. You want them to feel more at ease, but I would say the pattern from this draft makes me feel like they feel they're at ease the way that they handled this offseason. It makes me feel like they're trying to stick by their plan. The plan was clearly, now plans change, but the plan was clearly when they signed Daniel Jones to build this team at least for another 2 years before you even consider a quarterback pick. All you got to do is look at the contract. That's pretty obvious. They stuck to the plan. They didn't feel the need to have to force a quarterback pick to potentially buy more job security. So to me, that kind of implies that Brian Dable and Joe Schoen don't feel like Mara's breathing down their neck. At least that's the way I feel. So I think they're going to see this through, man. I think they're giving them at least 2 more years to continue to build this team. I think Dable and Schoen get at least 2 more years to continue to build this team. Let's see. Cole says, trust Joe's process needs time. He's making his squad. That's all you can do as a fan, man. Nightfall says, do you think they actually have faith in DeVito competing? No, maybe as a third stringer, but not as the backup. Obviously, that's why we brought in Drew Lock. So maybe you stick him on the practice squad if nobody claims him. When does day 2 start? Day 2 starts at 7 o'clock. So the first pick will probably be, 7:15, but it starts at 7 o'clock. Yeah, rest in peace to Corey Cunningham. Absolutely. Sad to see. I think he was only 28 years old, former tackle for the Giants. IQJ says, believe it or not, this team with above average coaching can make the playoffs. I don't disagree with that. I don't think that's crazy. We made the playoffs 2 years ago. We made the playoffs 2 years ago with not as much talent as we have now. I don't think that's crazy. I'm not predicting it, but it could certainly happen. Comes down to how much better is the line and how dominant is that pass rush. If those 2 units are good, the Giants will be competitive. So we'll see. Mike Dunn says, thanks for Saquon. I love that Eagle fans come in here and they think that they're I love that Eagle fans come in here and they think that they're going to make Giants fans upset that they got Saquon Barkley. How many Giants fans in here are upset that the New York Giants didn't give Saquon Barkley $14 million a year at the running back spot? I love Saquon, but how many Giants fans wanted to pay him the money that the Eagles did? I'm starting to get this in every stream now. Eagles fans coming in as if they're bragging that we stole Saquon from you. You didn't steal Saquon from us. We let him go. You didn't steal him from us. We said, well, you're not worth that. We'll let the Eagles overpay you. That's what happened. I don't think many Giants fans are upset that you got him. Let's see. What's up? What's up? What's up? James says get a lineman and the rest of the picks on defense. Let's go, man. We should get a new rule in the NFL. The lost picks for tampering go to the team that lost the tampered player. I hope the Eagles lose their entire draft next year. That'd be great. I wouldn't be surprised. In my only mock that I did on my channel this year, I had him going to the Giants in the 3rd round. So I think he's clearly a potential target for the Giants at 70 if he's still there. Let's see. Montauk, they did, obviously. I can't go back in time, but yes, they did. Jones' contract's not looking good, obviously. Carlos, you'll get it during the stream. You're not gonna get it now, but you'll get it during the stream. Let's see. What about a running back in the 2nd round? It's possible. I don't think they'll do it, but it's possible. Do a day 2 mock draft. Yeah, let me pull up the mock draft simulator. Hold on. Let's do Giants. I guess we'll do PFF. I don't know. I don't know which one's better. Okay, let me share it with the chat. Okay. So here's your 1st round. We'll go over that again real quick. As expected, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May were the first 3 picks. As expected, Marvin Harrison also, if the Cardinals weren't going to trade out. Jim Harbaugh stuck to his guns. He went Joe Alt, as a lot of people did expect leading up into the draft. Malik Nabers, of course, the Giants, getting one of the top, 3, 4 players in the entire draft. Latham, Tennessee, I think everybody knew they were going tackle. Most had them going Alt, if obviously the Chargers didn't take them, but they get a really good tackle. Biggest surprise of the night, Michael Penix, of course, going to the Atlanta Falcons. Not so much where he went, but where he went in terms of the draft, but where he went in terms of the place. I don't think many people expected that. Chicago, I think almost everybody had that. Roma Dunze to Chicago, if he slipped down to that pick, as they get more and more help for their young rookie quarterback. JJ McCarthy to Minnesota. That's where most people had him pegged. A lot of people thought that Minnesota would have to trade up earlier to get him. He slipped down to 10. The Jets, I think, were able to get like a 4th or 5th round pick out of that by trading down 1 spot. And then they take the tackle Fashanu. Many people thought they'd go Bowers, but Fashanu makes sense for them. All the linemen they brought in have an injury history. Makes sense, right? Aaron Rodgers historically has been a guy that's been able to maximize his weapons. It's more so being able to protect him. So it makes sense. I think it was the right pick for the Jets, actually. Bowers would have been the sexier pick. Denver goes Bo Nix. I don't love him as a prospect. I do think he goes into a good situation with Sean Payton. So we'll see how he does there. But he seems like he could fit in the type of offense that he wants to run. Brock Bowers, maybe not necessarily the best, what you would expect, because the Raiders don't scream that they need a tight end. But at that point was probably by far the best player on the board. So the Raiders just said he's too talented. We have to take him. Then you had another tackle. Fuaga goes to New Orleans, who always go offensive linemen. Latu was the first defensive player off the board, then Byron Murphy, then Dallas Turner. So then you started to see, a run of defensive players. Another tackle. How many tackles went? Let's count this. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Mims to the Bengals. Want to try to protect Joe Burrow. He's been banged up. Verse was a really good pick by the Rams. One of my favorite picks of the 1st round. I think he's really good. I wouldn't say he's elite, but I think he's really good. Fontenot, there's another tackle that's 6 to the Steelers. You had Chop Robinson. Mitchell to the Eagles. I hate saying it, but I think it was a good pick. Brian Thomas Jr., Jacksonville makes sense. Trevor Lawrence, you get him more help. Arnold, Detroit actually traded up to do that. Jordan Morgan, that's 7 tackle. Graham Barton, that's 8 offensive linemen in the 1st round. Tyler Guyton, 9. 9 linemen went in the 1st round. Wild. And then Xavier Legette was the last pick by the Carolina Panthers, who, of course, again, looking to help out their young quarterback. I like Legette. Was one of my he was probably my 5th favorite wide receiver in this draft class. I liked him more than Xavier Worthy. Worthy's a good fit for Kansas City, though, for all the reasons that Bad Dog stated leading up into the draft. But, yeah, I like they'll get picked by Carolina. But let's get into it. You have no more picks. Do they not let me they don't let you do a second-round draft here? I just recapped the whole first round. I can't. Okay. Do they make you pay for this? I'm not paying for that. Let's do this one. It's maybe this one. Pro Football Network. Let's see. Enter solo draft. Okay. Okay. So they're going to do the first round, and then we'll go from there. I got the draft in front of me, by the way. I'm not ignoring the chat right now. I just can't see the chat while I'm waiting for this draft to load up. Almost done. So Buffalo is the first pick at 33. They take Newton, defensive tackle out of Illinois. There goes Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid. So all the guys people want falling off the board. Newbin goes. He would have been a guy I would have potentially wanted to take at 47. McConkey goes. He would have been another guy that Giants fans would have wanted. I'm not going to trade down. We're just going to pick. Okay, so we're on the board. I mean, some people may want to double up with the receiver. I don't think I want to do that at this point. You've got TJ Tampa. That's certainly a possibility. The corner. We obviously need cornerback help. Adisa Isaac, as mentioned earlier, he's the guy that you want to look at here, whether it be this round or potentially pick 70. Benson, if they want to go running back, clearly a possibility that we brought him for a top 30 visit. Cooper Beebe, Max Melton. So a lot of our potential targets here, right? Sanistro, who the Giants liked. Sanat, another guy the Giants like. Chris Jenkins, a guy that I like. So there's a lot of options here. Fisk out of Florida State. What do I think I'll say what I think the Giants would do before I even look at the chat in this spot. I'm going to stay true to my theory that I think the Giants are going to stay true to their historically, they've loved to take guys from their top 30 visits. Joe Shane puts a lot of stock into that. And in this spot, I think the Giants would take I'm leaning either Melton. They did like Sanistro during the pre-draft process, but I'm leaning Melton or Benson. And I think they'll go with the corner. So I actually am going to have them taking Max Melton here. I know the chat, a lot of the people in the chat may want Cooper Beebe. They also brought him for a top 30 visit. So clearly a possibility here as well. For me here, it's either Melton or Beebe. If you're asking me who I think they would take in this scenario, I think it's either Melton or Beebe. And I think I would slightly lean towards Melton. We obviously addressed the interior offensive line in free agency a lot. I would love another lineman. Would not be upset with the Cooper Beebe pick here. I'm leaning they're going to go corner with that pick. But let's see. Let's see what the chat has to say. What's Malik's injury history? To my knowledge, I don't think he has any kind of extensive injury history. I'll do a little bit more research on him, but I don't. Let me look real quick. I'll look at Malik Nabers. I don't think he has much of an injury history. He's a gamer. Everything that you hear, he's tough as nails. I don't think he has an injury history, but let me look. Malik Nabers, since he's been at LSU, on the Giants. Can't even look up his college stats there. Let's see. While he was at LSU, yeah, he played 11 games in 2021. He played 14 games in 2022 and 13 games last year. So clean bill of health. This past year, he caught for almost 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns. Yeah, the guy's a freak. The guy's a big play threat. He could take a 5-yard pass, 70 yards to the house. So that's the type of player he is. So really excited about the pick. But yeah, no injury history that I know of. Nothing, that would scare you. Let's see. We'll get back to the draft in a second. I'm going to answer a couple of questions here in the chat. But thank you to everybody for being here. Appreciate it. Curious to see what you guys think they would do here. Not necessarily what you want, but what you think they will do with this pick. Thank you for being here. And Adventure Hobbit says, "Hey Chris, I don't like Nabers at 6. Why do we draft nothing but slot receiver? He's not a slot receiver. That was an overrated narrative to me. I don't view Malik Nabers as a slot receiver. Malik Nabers, if you look, first off, he's not Wan'Dale Robinson. Like Wan'Dale Robinson is a slot receiver. He's like 5'8", 5'9", whatever he is. Malik Nabers is 6 foot. Malik Nabers has a great vertical. He played an equal amount of snaps on the outside at LSU as he did in the slot. I don't view him as a slot receiver. I view him as a guy that you can move around and you can play him all over. Exactly the type of wide receiver that I thought that the New York Giants would covet. Similar to like an Antonio Brown, like people have said, or a Odell Beckham, even though he's a little bit taller, but I don't view him as a slot receiver at all. He could certainly play in the slot, and he did a lot of damage in the slot. Like I said, he had an equal amount of snaps in the slot and the exterior, and I think he had double the amount of yards out of the slot, but that's more so because he was probably able to create mismatches that way. But no, you could line him up all over, man. I think he's a great fit for the offense that we're looking to run. Let's see. And Flex says, my boy Tana up and early, cold out sick. Love it. Nabers hired in Wan'Dale. Wow. Speed demons. And don't forget, obviously Darius Slayton's got speed too. Nabers hired in Wan'Dale. Wow. Speed demons on the horizon. Second round, give me Kool-Aid if he's there. He wants Cooper Beebe, maybe Spencer. Possible. I don't think they'll go with Spencer Rattler, but possible. They clearly showed interest. They brought him in for a visit. So in this spot, what would you guys do with this pick? What do you think that I should rephrase that? What do you think the Giants would do with this pick? I'll go over the options again real quick. So let me pull it up. Let's look at the corners first, because I think that's clearly one of the positions where they may go. TJ Tampa, Max Melton, and Sanistro. I think those are the three guys they could potentially take in this scenario. You look at the safety spot, Kitchens, Bullard. I like Bullard. Those two I think are possibilities. I don't think they'd go linebacker. Isaac, clearly a possibility. Brought him in for a top 30 visit. Trice, clearly a possibility. I like him. I don't know how they feel about him, but I like him. And then Chris Jenkins, I love. Fisk, a lot of Giants fans like. So those are options on the defensive end. And then offense, you got Trey Benson. Many feel is the best running back in this class. Giants brought him in for a top 30 visit. You got Cooper Beebe. You've got Sanat. I think those are the guys I went over. I think those Blake Corn. I think they probably wait till round 3 for a running back. So I think those are your options. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Benson. Don't want Melton. Think it's a reach. I see him as a slot. Anton says. Corner or safety, Alzo says. Peter says, my heart wants O-line in round 2, but you have to go corner. It's our biggest current need, and they are dropping a bit. Too bad Trey didn't work out. I don't think you have to go corner, because I think Shane's going to take the guy that he feels is the best available player, but he's definitely – you could also look at it like the plan that Joe Shane had this offseason lends itself to going corner early in the draft, though. So he may have evaluated the draft board and said, well, day 2, we like a lot of guys that could potentially be corners, so let's not spend in free agency. So I am leaning with you. I expect the corner to go at 47 or 70, but I don't think he's going to force it either. Benson over Fit. A lot of people are saying Benson. If I had to pick what they would do here, Kool-Aid's gone in this spot, Flex. TJ Tampa. If I had to pick, I'm going to go with my initial guy. If I was guessing what they would do here, I would go with Max Melton out of Rutgers. I think that would be my pick. But a lot of people seem to say Tampa. We'll go with him. I think they're going corner there in that spot. And then let's see at pick 70. Benson just went to the Cowboys. It makes sense. They could use a running back. All right, Giants are up. All right, so we took a corner. I mean, Fisk is good. A lot of people like him. Trice could get an edge. We got options, guys. You want to double up in the secondary, you could do that. And then I think this is the first round where you start to look at the running backs too. So you have a Blake Corum, you have a Shipley, you have a Braylon Allen. You could potentially go there in this spot too. Look over at the tight end. He's an interesting prospect. What was the thing with Sanders, guys? Somebody in the chat let me know because I forgot. What was the thing with Sanders, why he dropped? Because he was projected to go higher. And something happened. I can't remember what it was. Something happened during the draft process that it caused his stock to fall a bit. Because most people felt like he was like the second best tight end in this draft class early on in the process. And I can't remember what it was. Something happened. Is that so? He just had a bad combine. Is that what it was? That's what it was. He's slow. I remember something caused his draft. I thought it was something off the field. That's what. Okay, it was a slow 40. Okay, I thought it was something off the field for whatever reason. And Jay Rose says watched a lot of film on Michael Pratt from Tulane. Kid is a bowler. I mean, there was rumors the Giants were potentially interested in him early on in the process too. That's a day 3 guy. I don't think they would take Pratt at the quarterback position today. But yeah, clearly probably one of the 2 or 3 most likely quarterbacks if they want to take one in round 4 or 5. Melton, I don't think Melton's still available. We already went corner. Corum, Fisk, he got a DUI. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Sweat. I knew that Sanders' stock went down too, but maybe I was thinking about the DUI of Sweat. But so it was due to his 40 time. Okay. So I guess I wouldn't think we'd go there. Let's see. Let me go back. Is it decent? I think Isaac's already off the board. Andrew Phil. We already went corner though, because we brought him in for a top 30 visit. Who else is here? Kind of slim picking in terms of guys that we brought in for top 30 visits. I would Theo Johnson we did, but a bit early. I wouldn't hate the running back here. I could convince myself as a fan that round 3, pick 70, you could get Blake Corum. I wouldn't hate that pick. Wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate a lineman if they liked one here either. So what does the chat think? You guys see the names that are available. What do you guys think? But I'd be open to a running back with this pick. And obviously I like Fisk, defensive tackle. I'm all about that. Trice, Washington. I'd love another edge rusher. A lot of options here. Let's see. Corum, they want the running back. Estime, you could probably get him in the next round, but who knows? These mock drafts are never accurate. Joe Milton at some point, he's a day 3 guy, I think, but definitely a guy Giants fans will have on their, if they don't go quarterback today, definitely a guy that Giants fans will be looking at tomorrow. Corum or Fisk? Let's go Fisk. I think he's a very popular player amongst Giant fans. I would like to continue to improve that defensive line. He's really fun to watch. Like he's nasty. So the Giants end up with, in this scenario, we get our corner and our defensive line. And I think, I can't pinpoint who the players are going to be, but I think that's where my head's at going into day 2. If I had to guess, like I said earlier, I think it'll be a member of the secondary, whether it be a safety or a corner, and somebody on that defensive line. But obviously with the possibility of going offensive line too. But that's what I'm leaning. We're going to end up with a corner, more than likely a corner and a defensive lineman. And in this spot we do. And that's a pretty good top 3. I think most Giant fans would be pretty content with that. You get Malik Nabers, TJ Tampa, and Fisk in the first 3 rounds. I think Most Giant fans would be pretty happy if the Giants ended up with that today. Let's see. Let's give Eric Gray a proper chance. I think he's going to get a chance. I think they're going to have a running back by committee. Rodney says Nabers is Tony with freak athletic skill / speed. He's a much better version of Kadarius Toney. He's unique. Let's put it that way. He's unique. He's a much better version of Kadarius Toney. He's really good. I'm really excited. Let's go back and look at I'm going to look at previous draft. I'm curious. Let's go back to the 2013 draft and go forward. I'm curious to see where the chat would rank him over the last 10 years, just in terms of as a prospect at the wide receiver spot. The first wide receiver in that class was Tavon Austin that was drafted. I don't know who turned out to be what. Well, DeAndre Hopkins was in that class, but he clearly was not the same level of prospect. He was a late first-round pick. So Tavon Austin was the first pick in that draft at the wide receiver spot. 2014, you had Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, 2 top 10 picks. I think he's at least on those guys' levels as a prospect. 2015, you had Amari Cooper. He was a really good one. Kevin White, complete bust, but he was a top 10 pick. 2016, you didn't have a wide receiver until pick 15 with Corey Coleman. Obviously, didn't work out in the NFL. 2017, you had Corey Davis. I would put him above him. John Ross, he only got jumped up because of his 40 time. 2018, there wasn't a wide receiver that went in the first 20 picks. So nobody that year. That was the Saquon draft. There was a lot of good wide receivers in that draft, ironically, but not thought of as highly as a prospect as the guy that we got last night. 2019, you had, again, the first wide receiver taken was pick 25, Marquise Hollywood Brown. So, I think I've said, so far, how many wide receivers? I'm not looking at the chat right now because I'm looking through it, but maybe 1, 2, that was a comparable prospect to him, I think, coming out. Henry Ruggs was the first one in 2020. You had CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy in that draft, too, who were both really highly thought of. But I don't think the level of the guy we got today or yesterday. 2021, you've got Jamar Chase. Yes, he's on that level. And Jalen Waddle. I think he's a better prospect than Waddle, who I loved, but similar level. 2022, you got Drake London. He's above Drake London as a prospect. And Garrett Wilson, really good. I would say slightly above him as a prospect. So if you look at the last 10 drafts, there might be, 3, 4 wide receivers that were on his level as a prospect coming into the NFL. It was a stacked wide receiver class. Just so happened that Marvin Harrison was also in the same class. But I think the Giants got a guy that does not come around every year at that position. So that's why I love the pick. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention Odell because I was only looking at top 10 picks. But obviously Odell ended up being really good. But, yeah, you can maybe look at 4 or 5 guys, and I think that's pushing it. Let's see. Only one that is arguably a better prospect in the last 10 years is Jamar and probably Marv. Yeah, I would have Marv above him. Just so happens they're in the same class, but they're both great. What's up, Sam? It's crazy that I've been watching you since a freshman in high school and I just graduated. That's awesome, man. Congratulations, dude. Can I show Nabers highlights? Sure, I'll show Nabers highlights. Of course I'll show Nabers highlights. I can watch Nabers highlights for the next 6 months leading up into the season. It's only 3. We'll go with this one.
On 4th down. Gonna launch it to the end zone. Nabers holds it in again.
But also Daniels just playing better.
Here is Daniels. Look at the time he has, and he's got a man wide open, and you know who it is.
Run down, act like it's a curl.
Watch it. I've seen this one a bunch. That double move.
Richardson to hesitate a moment. That's all Jaden Daniels needed. He got it out early.
But he can't wear number 7 because he's an offensive tackle, so he's wearing the patch. Daniels downfield and right into the arms of Malik Nabers. 2nd and 8. Daniels pulls it. He quickly gets it to Nabers, and Malik Nabers is off to the races.
He just looks like he got another.
Tigers.
He got another speed
as well. Pressure from the edge. It's picked up. Nussmeier going deep, and it is.
Look at this.
Malik Nabers.
Look at this.
Picked up. Nussmeier going deep.
Look at the distance. He just keep going further and further. Look out! Look at
and it is caught. Malik Nabers.
When that ball was first thrown, when you first see Nabers
going,
he's got about 4 yards of separation. 3.5 yards. 4 yards. This guy's going full speed.
Deep.
Nabers has to look for the ball, mind you. This guy's just running. Now he's already at 5.5 yards. He's at by the time he gets there, he's got what do you have? 9 yards of separation? He's got to turn back and look for the ball. The guy picked up 4 yards.
Picked up. Nussmeier going.
The guy picked up 4 yards in 15 yards. Right? That's at the 26.
Deep. And it is.
He catches it at the 21 yards. He picked up like 4 yards on the guy. That's insane.
Malik Nabers, touchdown LSU.
Longer, but he doesn't need to. He needs to get it up and out. And right here, he's going to let the ball go. Right? Look at even with the safety, but put a lot of air on it. Right? Instead of holding it, waiting for him to get open, and then ripping it on a line drive.
4th in the state in the 100 meters. Play action. Daniels heaves one long, and it is caught for the touchdown.
This is one-on-one with the safety, and it's just easy. It's unfair. He goes outside or inside, then outside.
Imagine this guy lining up in the slot, like making moves like that with his speed.
Stem.
Another blitz. One-on-one for Nabers. He's got it.
Daniels. We're going to see if he was in here, but it looked like he was to me. Here's the catch. There's the foot.
Daniels on 1st down. Gonna take a shot to the end zone, and Nabers comes up with it.
Safety in Hunter Washington on the fade throw. This is a throw they haven't hit a bunch of early this season, but they hit that exact same play in this game last year. On a
receivers don't make that.
Bring that ability to create explosive plays.
But on 1st down, it's an empty backfield. Daniels hits Nabers in stride, and that's a 1st down and much more.
Bring that ability to create explosive plays.
It's Odell Beckham.
1st down, it's an empty backfield. Daniels hits Nabers in stride, and that's a 1st down and much more.
Diggs goes in motion. Daniels looking to the end zone, launches, Nabers.
That's a great story to hear. And a laser beam shot to Malik Nabers. Gets to the sideline. Gets a block. And Daniels up the seam for Nabers. Makes the catch. Breaks a tackle. Malik Nabers pulled down from behind. 2nd and 12. Offensive line did their job, and then Daniels does his job, and then Malik Nabers turns the corner and again.
It's 6 carries against Auburn last week and a touchdown. Here's Malik Nabers, turns it inside, goes against the grain, and Nabers. Where's your respect? Respect the game. Daniels towards the end zone and is caught. Nabers, touchdown LSU. 27.
Mason Taylor, the tight end in motion. Daniels loads, going deep, man out there's Nabers, he's got it.
Man, that's safety. Which one of these guys will cover and help? No help.
Yeah.
Just right down the middle. You have to think.
In Alabama territory at the 43-yard line. Here comes a blitz. Daniels, plenty of time, loads deep sideline. Oh, what a catch by Nabers, but was he
for Alabama and LSU? But none of them could stop that throw. I don't care if it was Michael Fitzpatrick, Travion Diggs.
Over the center, Charles Turner. They roll the pocket, and Daniels converts on third down. This is Malik Nabers down the hashes, and Nabers takes it into Florida. They bring a blitz. Daniels to throw. Wide open, and it's Malik Nabers. The nation's leading receiver stays on his feet. Down to the 30, all the way down to the 20. What a run. 49
This guy's not a typical slot
receiver. Instead, LSU gets the benefit of the doubt. And the long throw from Daniels to Malik Nabers. Stays on his feet. Tough to bring down Malik Nabers.
I fight for every yard.
Keep this team on the field.
And there goes Malik Nabers back in the game after a one-play injury timeout. Daniels goes his way, and Nabers spins, breaks a tackle with a stiff arm. He's got a first down. Jaden Daniels back to work here on a rollout. Finds the soft spot. Catch and run again from Malik Nabers.
Oh, my God.
Down the sideline.
Oh, my God.
Malik Nabers with a flag down.
Just got to make sure that he's reading things right and he's let the game come to him.
There's this one out against pressure, over the shoulder catch, Nabers. And he will take it inside the 25. That'll get you.
Daniels motions Taylor. Williams in the backfield, 4th and 3. Gonna loft it downfield. Nabers again goes up and gets it.
Showing you people said, absolutely, and I get it, and Royal Doomsday did this too. But people said that they didn't want Nabers. They thought it was a huge. Doomsday was a huge gap when it came to contested catch rate, stuff like that.
Motions
like
Taylor. Williams in the backfield, 4th and 3. Gonna loft it downfield. Nabers again goes up and gets it.
And they have been absolutely killing them on the out route. Well, this time they decided to break it out, win to the outside, and go with a slot fade. And a good job there by Jaden Daniels, giving his wide receiver an opportunity to go up and make a play. Sometimes you'll see guys overshoot.
Goodwin is still in there at the tailback spot after that nice run earlier. This throw quickly out in the flat. The Nabers, Malik Nabers, still going.
We got a special player
out of the game. That's a good start to this drive. Bama brings some pressure. They pick it up, and Daniels working the sidelines to Nabers, who
from a teammate and somehow gets the foot down in bounds. There's not a lot of room. He's right on the boundary. How about the throw by Jaden Daniels? Up in the air, left foot down, clearly.
Second down at 6. Nabers goes in motion. Daniels to throw for the first time, and he's looking for Nabers. He's got it. Well, how about this? 10 from the 40-yard line. Play action. Daniels has plenty of time to throw. Good job by the offensive line. Nabers, great adjustment to make the catch.
Dumas Johnson came on that late blitz and had a hand on him, but couldn't control him. And now it's another first down and on the run. Malik Nabers into Georgia territory and another first down.
He has a right shoulder contusion. He may return, guys. I'm going to go check on what's going on the LSU sideline.
All right, Jenny, thanks. Nussmeier in the grab it. Touchdown.
That was a risky throw by Caden. Oh, that wasn't even big.
He has so many of those. Johnson flush, throws behind the line of scrimmage, deep, open. That is caught for a touchdown.
You tell me the last time the Giants had a wide receiver.
It's a great job by Max Johnson to buy time and keep his eyes downfield. Really just throw a jump ball here down to Nabers, who came into this game with only 4 receptions.
From their own 44. That one quickly to Nabers. Nabers in Warhawk territory. And finally brought down inside the 10.
I'm excited, guys. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited, guys. Dude, I'm excited, man. Let's make sure I'm caught up here. Thoughts on Jordan Travis? That's, I think, when you consider him if you're going to do it. But, listen, if they go any quarterback with that pick, I'll be fine with it. You want to go quarterback in day 3, you don't got to pay him a whole lot of money. Worst case, he's a long-term backup. I'm fine with it. He falls obviously due to his injuries. He's a bit undersized, but you want to take him in the 5th round? I'm fine with that. Nichols says, "What's up, E? Super pumped we get our guy. Is Nabers and Odell's talent comparable when Odell got drafted?" I think they are comparable. I mean, obviously, Odell was a freak, but yeah, his prospects, I think they are comparable. Yes, he's that highly thought of. Absolutely. I'm not telling you he's going to be as good as Odell. Odell was the best wide receiver on the planet for 3 years. But he's going to be really good. He's going to be a really good player for this team. What's up, Anthony says, "Could you do another mock draft for the rest of the rounds?" We'll save that for tomorrow. We'll do day 3 tomorrow after we see what we do today, Anthony. We'll do that for tomorrow. Let's go. G-Man Darnell says, "Let's go, man. Only a matter of time until DJ stares down Nabers." Listen, if DJ doesn't get the job done with Malik Nabers, somebody else will be brought in to do so. So regardless, this is his last shot. So we'll see what he can do. What's up, Jeremy? No, it's round 2 and 3, Blake. It's round 2 and 3. Pick a player that you guys like, a day 2 prospect today. Tell me a player that you guys want to see highlights of that you think the Giants could take today. Let's pull up some highlights. Who do you guys want to see? Nichols probably start at like 6:20, 6:30. Benson. You want to look at Benson? Cooper DeJean. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. Benson, Melton. All right, I see a lot of Bensons, and running back will be fun to watch. Let's look at Benson real quick. Who many feel is the best running back in this class? So let's look at him real quick. We'll go with this one.
Who uses this every single day. I've noticed the
1st and 10, and Jordan Travis trying to stay and get his name into the conversation. Trey Benson off to the races. One guy to beat, high stepping. He got smoked for the Falcons. Touchdown. 85 yards.
Be nice.
Right at the bottom of your screen right now. 1st down and 10. Benson goes north-south. Benson tucks it to the house. 62 yards. Back at you.
Everybody lined up close to the football. Benson, 1st down, still running. Trey Benson all the way to the end zone. Hat trick touchdown for Benson.
We're good.
Back to throw is Jordan Travis. Sets up the screen. Trey Benson cuts it back. Breaking tackles. Trey Benson off to the races. Touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
Only his receiver could have caught it. Good for 30 yards. Benson through a gaping hole. Benson kicked in the turbo. Good night. Touchdown Seminoles.
Here's Benson onto the leg. Good call, well executed. Benson heading toward the end zone. 38-yard touchdown, Florida State.
In the 3rd quarter. Benson has the football, runs through tackles. Trey Benson to the secondary. Trey Benson to the end zone. And the Noles claim the lead on a 36-yard run.
To arriving to Florida State. A toss to Benson. Benson with a hole. Still on his cutting back inside. Headed towards the sideline, breaking for the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Trey Benson. A 42-yard run. Florida State putting it on Southern Miss.
They'll run it with Trey Benson, and he finds a crease to the end zone for a touchdown.
Super chat things.
Miss showing blitz.
Yeah.
They hand it off up the middle, right up the gut. Benson into the end zone for the touchdown. A 19-yard scamper.
First down run, Benson again, and here he goes inside the 20.
Position at their own 46, but they are now on their side of the 50, and there goes Trey Benson. They seal it up on the edge.
He runs hard, man. He's explosive. He runs hard.
One of the deep tight end group went in motion. Travis under duress, back shoulder throw, and it is caught. Nice catch by Trey Benson, spinning around on the Clemson.
Gets the handoff again off the left side. A yawning hole for Trey Benson. And it's Trey Day.
Hand it off. Benson, that's his first positive gain after a couple of losses. He rips off 15 to get the drive going.
Benson up the middle to the goal line, spinning, touchdown!
Get more and more important.
Drive recap brought to you by Camping World. And now the handoff to Benson, who busts loose. They're beginning to get a little traction with the running game.
All right, you guys got the gist.
Douglas in motion. Travis.
Pretty exciting prospect, though. I don't necessarily think we're gonna take him, but it's possible. He's the only running back we brought in for a top 30 visit, so we would probably have to take him at 47. I think he's probably gonna be gone before 70. But he's fun, man. I think that would get Giants fans excited, right? Because then you had two skill position players, two young explosive players. It would be a fun pick. It would certainly be a fun pick. Let's see. Let's see. Kool-Aid next. You want to get Kool-Aid? All right, let's do it. I watch this guy's highlight videos a lot.
So excited to announce that local recordings are.
And this for all those cats that I was balling with, saying rap ain't finna get my ass a scholarship. And how come every teacher's motto is, music ain't gonna do for you what Nessie, baby, party with the people that believe.
Here's a fade. Knowles can't come up with it. McKinstry knocks it away. No flag down. And Kansas State will have to go for it on 4th and 5. With Kool-Aid McKinstry, really good job with that left hand, breaking that pass up.
Card in the shotgun. Here's Card. Drops it off. Caught. Bijan Robinson, but the pursuit is excellent by Alabama. Kool-Aid with a smile making a play.
Great tackle on the outside. Kool-Aid stepping up from that corner position.
He definitely has the coolest name.
Finley, he's getting pressured, and he's going down. And now they lost yardage. I don't think there's any way they're going to try a field goal from here, but we'll see. And Finley slow to get up. Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Big aggressive call by Pete Golding that time, defensive coordinator.
Governors keeping their foot on the gas on 2nd down. That's a pick. That is Kool-Aid McKinstry. And McKinstry's got some blockers if he can stay on his feet. And he's tripped up around midfield by Javon Jackson. Otherwise, he's still running.
But Kool-Aid McKinstry on the interception, the top cornerback on this Alabama defense, and a 26-yard return.
2nd down and 7. Opening offensive drive for the Razorbacks.
Good anticipatory skills you've seen on a few of these plays. He has a good break on the ball.
Yeah, it looked to me like an illegal formation.
Tries to go deep in. 3rd down and 9 at the 31. Card in trouble. Card better get rid of it. Card does. There's a great pressure by
2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns through the air in that spread offense his senior year. That one tipped and intercepted. Kool-Aid McKinstry came right through the brick wall after Drew Sanders tipped it. That one since his senior year.
I wish you could see his eyes. You read
That
the
one
play.
tipped and intercepted. Kool-Aid McKinstry came right through the brick wall after Drew Sanders tipped it.
Oh, here's a better angle.
Early on the field as the ball is tipped and intercepted by Alabama. First down.
And we're going to go a little tempo right here. 2nd down and 7. Blitz coming. Jefferson throws to the outside. Lucky that.
He ran the route for him there. All over him.
Kool-Aid McKinstry
Could have been a
broke up the
penalty.
pass intended for Matt Landers.
Little handsy, I guess.
Good coverage.
There you go. Maybe we get him. I think he probably goes before we pick, though. King Josh says, "So do you want running back?" No, I don't. I want cornerback. But I wouldn't be upset if we took the best running back in this draft class at our first pick. I wouldn't be upset. But no, I want cornerback or defensive line. Michael says, "I want Coleman or Newton at 40." Yeah, a lot of Giants fans want Newton. I've heard. I don't think Giants fans want Coleman at this point. But we'll see. You guys, you're a Saints fan, so you guys could certainly use another wide receiver for sure. I didn't mean to miss a super chat, by the way, because I was looking at highlights. So let me just make sure I didn't miss any. Connor says, couldn't be happier with the pick. I see a lot of people compare him to Odell, but he kind of reminds me of Antonio. Yeah, a lot of people I've seen a lot of people make that comparison. And yeah, I see it. He's very unique. He's tough because he's a guy that could really do both. He's got enough size to play on the outside, and he's quick enough where you could put him in the slot. Like he's really good. But yeah, a lot of people have said Antonio Brown, and I see it for sure. Yeah, he's got a somewhat similar build. Yeah, I could see it. I think he's stronger than Antonio Brown, but Antonio Brown was obviously incredible. But both of them, incredible comparisons to even be mentioned with those guys. But naturally, you're going to get the Odell comparisons because of where he went to school. Pharaoh says, stand up. I am happy with the Nabers pick. What people don't realize is that with all the quarterbacks taken this year, there are only 3 teams that need a quarterback next year. Well, you can't say, I mean, you could say that now, but you say the Giants, the Raiders, and maybe the Jets. Well, let's think about it. The Cowboys certainly could use a quarterback next year. There's no way that they're completely sold on Trey Lance, and we've got to see what Dak Prescott does. I don't believe they signed him to an extension, so the Cowboys could certainly use a quarterback next year. Potentially. I'm not saying they will, but they could. Vikings, no. Packers, no. Lions, no. Well, Lions could. Like, let's say, well, no, they're probably going to give him an extension, though. So, no, I'll say no for them. And then who's the other team in, who am I forgetting in the North? Lions, Packers, Bears, and Lions, Packers, Bears, and the Vikings. So, yeah, obviously they just took their quarterback. NFC South, the Bucs certainly could. Did you mention the Bucs? The Bucs certainly could. They signed Baker Mayfield to a short-term commitment. Falcons, no. The Saints, I would think could potentially go quarterback. No, I would think the Saints could go quarterback next year. I'm sure there's going to be teams that could potentially need a quarterback. There's always teams that could potentially go quarterback. So it's too early to project that. But obviously less teams because 6 quarterbacks went in the first 12 picks. What's up, DJ, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Let's see. Yeah, Seahawks could as well, for sure. Joseph says, do you think we get a quarterback in this draft? I'm going to lean yes. But obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't go quarterback at all. Like, I think Shane could, at this point, could easily just say, I only got 5 more picks. I have a lot more needs on this team. Let me let me continue to build this roster for another year. But just the way he has talked about the quarterback draft class has always led me to believe he's going with a day 3 quarterback. Every single time he gets asked about this quarterback class, he says deep. It's a deep class. It's a deep class. It's a deep class. So that has always led me to believe that he likes the class. And whenever he's been asked about first-round quarterbacks, he has turned the focus to how deep the class is. So it always led me to believe probably a day 3 pick will probably be spent on a quarterback, which obviously you project to be a backup, but maybe they go for a guy like a Milton, like people have suggested, with upside. If you could get him in the 5th round, 6th round, and maybe you could turn him into something. If not, maybe it could be a good backup. So I could see that. I could certainly see them going quarterback in day 3. I don't think they'll go quarterback until at the earliest pick 70. I don't think they'll go quarterback at 47. Let's see. And Demir, what's going on, man? Good to see you, man. Giants did the right thing. Even if Jones isn't the guy, you set the next guy up for success. Let's get a DB and Trey Benson. Dude, I'm thrilled with what they did. I'm never in favor of a team forcing a quarterback pick. And last night I would have if we were picking a little bit later, like if we were picking where the Broncos were, I'd feel differently. Because at 12, you can't get a guy like a Malik Nabers, right? You're not getting that caliber of a player. So at 12, if a J.J. McCarthy fell there, yeah. Or at, or a Penix even, or whoever, okay. But at 6, where we were picking, no. And when you tell me at a time when a team is traded back to take a quarterback, and I'm a firm believer, if you're taking a quarterback with one of your a top 5, 6, 7 pick, if you don't believe that guy could be a top 5 quarterback in the league, you shouldn't be taking him. So I didn't believe any of those guys more. I didn't think the likelihood of one of those guys potentially being a top 5 quarterback warranted the pick. So I would rather get a guy like Malik Nabers. Let's see. Michael says, give me an AB type over Odell. Hold on, dude. Antonio Brown is one of the greatest wide receivers who ever lived. He's also one of the craziest, but he's certainly one of the greatest wide receivers who ever lived. He won me a lot of fantasy leagues. Real quick, I was in a keeper league. I actually drafted in a 2 quarterback league the year before Antonio Brown broke out. Like, he was solid. I think they had like Santonio Holmes and him on the same team. Maybe I can't remember, but it was like the year right before he broke out. It was a keeper league, so you get to keep him in the round that you drafted him in. I drafted him in like the 12th round. And then he had like a 1,600-yard year with like 130 catches. And I kept him for like the next 4 years. He won me like 3 fantasy championships. I love him for that. Let's see. Chillboy says, wonder why there's no interest in Blake Corum. I think there is. I don't think that they view him as a day 2 guy. I don't think many people view him as a day 2 target for the Giants. But I think a lot of Giants fans would be happy with him at 70. Corum's not a guy that's going to be an every down back, right? Because of his size, but he's certainly a guy that could be a really valuable piece to a running back by committee for sure. I think there's a place for him. He's a good running back. Let's see. And Clocks was good to see you, Clocks, man. The world is all roses because I didn't have to overdraft for a quarterback who has a coffee and naps behind Michigan's line. Fu Kim. I'm happy. Nabers is an awesome pick. Listen, I love the Nabers pick, man. I think it was the right pick. I know there's a portion of the fan base that was going to hate it, but I'm happy with the pick. Do you think? I don't think we're going to trade up. No, I don't. I don't think we're going to trade up. What's up, Joey Lutz? Good to see you, man. One of my OGs. What jersey number do you think Nabers will wear? He's not going to wear 8. Now, if Daniel Jones gets cut the following year, yeah, of course he could wear 8, but you're not going to wear 8 for now. Jones is the quarterback. He's a captain. I have no idea. I don't know what number he would wear. I have no idea. No idea. Let's see. Blake Corum, 5'8", 215. Corum kind of reminds me of MJD, right? He had that similar stocky build. Like, I think Maurice Jones-Drew was like, I want to say about 5'7", 5'6", 5'7", but he was like 220. Like similar, Corum similar to him. And they both ran hard. Nick says, how about New York bringing in Jackson Powers Johnson? We'll see. Who is your target at 47? My target, I'm going to show you my target at 47. This is my guy at 47. I mean, I've said it several times, but this is my guy at 47. This is the guy I want. I would like this pick. What's my target? Right here.
Sometimes I just want to rent a car and go.
No. If Cooper's John Foles,
And I think I can help you
scratch
with
that.
Really?
I want him.
You are going
I don't think
in
he'll
an
be there.
electric vehicle to Denver, baby. Let's go.
What is happening here?
And that's good news for Washington. 3rd down and 1.
I wish they would
And
circle
Cameron
him.
Davis did not get the first down.
But
They're
he's
both big
94.
targets.
This isn't
out of
good.
this
They're
part of the
circling.
field.
I don't want to see that. I want him, let's see.
And out of a minute 15 remaining.
Okay, so
in
they
this
do it. So here
first
it is
half.
right here.
And Flynn protected for the moment. Nothing open. So now he's running for his life, trying to get rid of it. Got to get it back to the line of scrimmage somewhere in that general vicinity. And he does. Our season schedule. Michigan's backed off. A little softer defense, taking some of the starters out. A little inside run here with Marlon Gunn.
Have to play fast.
This is how they're built. So 1 play and 1 first down. Out of the ground they go, and a 2-yard pickup for Vincent Davis. Front field rolls. Ready to throw, and he got hammered again. 5th sack of the day. Jenkins and Grant, the 2 inside guys, the big fellas.
So Chris Jenkins, we all know and have heard about his strength, but his goal was to become a better interior pass rusher. Watch him on this play.
I just think about getting a guy like this.
Actually, I think it was going to be a screen.
With our
Again,
defensive line,
they
kind of
actually turned him away. Didn't
not that I think he's
Nobody
good
blocked
at
him.
Leonard Williams was a
They
really,
let him go.
really good
Trying
football
to get the
player,
ball rid of the ball, but
he kind of
did
fills
not
that void.
do it well enough.
Receivers to the near side. And they wanted to run option, and it's not an option enough. The only guy
I'd be happy
on
with this.
field kept it. And Michigan will take over on downs. Chris Jenkins again.
His offense.
Off play action, ball's out. He picks it up and he is brought down back inside Falcon territory.
That's my guy. I mean, it's 8 minutes long. I like Chris Jenkins. He's kind of been the guy I wanted to.
They call him the mute,
I like him,
but he's nimble
but
on his feet.
obviously,
right here
if
in the middle.
John's there, if Kool-Aid McKinstry's there, I would expect them to be the pick. Let's see. And Davey says DJ threw 24 touchdowns his rookie year. 1 year he was the most accurate passer over 30 yards. He has vastly improved weapons, just given an average line. Well, he's going to get his chance, Davey. I think it's clearly obvious. That he's going to get his chance. I mean, he's the projected starter. I don't buy this narrative from the anti-Jones crowd that they're going to sit him due to the injury clause. I don't buy that. I think he's going to play. So he's going to get his chance. He's going to get 1 more year. And if he plays great, well, he's going to get another year. If he doesn't, well, we're probably going to replace him. We're going to save $20 million if we move on. So we'll see. I mean, he's going to have his best opportunity since he's been here next year. So we'll see. Michael says, your guy Brady and Hurts, let's go. Sign me up. Let's go. Let's see. And if DJ can't run like he used to, he's cooked. Well, that's the other thing you worry about, right? With the injuries. The thing that worries me most about DJ above all else, based off what you saw last year, and listen, I understand that his offensive line was a joke at the beginning of the year. Like, it was a joke. Like, once Andrew Thomas went down, you really saw how important he is to this line, because the line's bad with him. Without him, it's like one of the worst offensive lines in the history of football. Like, it was that bad. So I understand that, but it really looked to me like last year Daniel Jones was shell-shocked. And that's not a good sign. And I don't know if he can recover from that. You know, you get that mental clock in your head. And listen, if he's a starter this year, I hope he does. I hope he has a great year. I'm never going to root against the player and whatever. So hopefully he surprises me. Because at this point, I don't think he's going to be the long-term quarterback. But I hope he proves me wrong if he gets the chance. And it appears he's probably going to. Phil says, if they go running back round in the third or fourth, Trey Benson or Allen. I mean, I think they would go. I think they would probably have Benson above Allen, but Benson more than likely won't, if I had to guess, won't be there at pick 70. So if they don't take Benson at 47, he certainly could get to 70, but I think it's much more likely he would go before Allen would. So it might be more likely that we get Allen if we don't want to go running back at 47. But you want to talk about a contrast of styles, completely different types of running backs. Let's see. Makes zero sense to root against your own players. You want them to work out. If DJ doesn't work out, then you're in quarterback purgatory and forcing a quarterback pick. I get it. I'll be rooting my ass off for him next year if he's a starting quarterback, which I think he's going to be. Tommy says, you guys have no idea when you have 250 to 300 pound guys ready to break your ass, you'll get hurt too. Well, yeah. Yeah. Hey, let's see. Did you see the Giants are linked to Rattler for the second round pick? I mean, the only guy that I saw linking them, and maybe he'll be right, but the only guy that I saw linking the Giants to Rattler for the second round pick is Pat Leonard. And anything the media says, I take with a very small grain of salt. I mean, if you listen to the media this entire draft process, one guy was telling you we're going to take this quarterback. Another guy was telling you we're going to take that quarterback. Another guy was telling you we're going to take that quarterback. What they say means nothing to me. Nothing. I think we're so accustomed to Dave Gettleman being the general manager where everything will get leaked. With Joe Shane, he ain't telling the media what he's going to do. And it seems like they have a tight group where they're not letting things get out. So what Pat Leonard says is irrelevant to me. It does that means nothing. Let's see. Doug Rush aggregated the Rattler stuff too. I mean, maybe we will. I'm not saying we won't, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. When you have 5 seconds to throw the ball, your wide receivers ain't past 5 yards. When you have 5 seconds to throw the ball, you better be a good quarterback. 3 seconds in the NFL is a lot of time. A lot of times. Daniel Jones hasn't even had 3 seconds. Luke says, what do you think of Johnny Newton? Yeah, let me well, I don't want to pull up highlights of everybody, but a lot of Giants fans like him. Let me see where he's projected to go. Let me see. At one point he was a first round pick. I know that, but I think he dropped. Where's he projected to go? Oh wow. Their sights down. I think he's a second round guy, right? I know at one point he was a first round pick. Oh, here we go. I haven't gotten a chance to watch him, to be honest with you, but computer's acting up. I was muted. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what it is with my new computer. StreamYard only works with Google Chrome for whatever reason. It does not work with Safari, and I have to look into it. I just got this new laptop like a month ago. With Safari, my computer runs completely fine. There's no hiccups. I could pull up so many different links. The computer doesn't slow down. With Google Chrome, it goes so much slower. I don't know why. I don't know why. My old Apple computer, that didn't happen. But for whatever reason, with Google Chrome, it goes a lot slower. Let's see. And Cox, man, thank you very much, man. Chris, not a Giants question, but something you may know more than I saw that 26 Colorado Buffaloes have any ideas what's going on over there. Is the romance over with Dion? That's a good question. What I heard, and I haven't been keeping up with Colorado, but what I heard about what Colorado did thus far this offseason is they've actually improved their offensive line a ton. But it kind of feels like Dion is kind of like Calipari in the sense that he maybe he's like a one and done type guy, right? He attracted so many transfers over to that team. But I haven't been keeping up with Colorado. I do know early in the process, a lot of people were saying that they improved their offensive line dramatically, but I haven't been keeping up with it. But they had so many transfers, so that kind of makes sense, right? Because so many people transferred there when they followed Dion. So maybe they feel like they'll get better opportunities elsewhere and get more of an opportunity to play. So that because they had a lot of guys come in last year late in the process. Yeah, I got a Mac, Davey. Is that what it is? Chrome is a memory hog? My old computer didn't have that problem at all. Hey, Chris, hope you're ready for day 2. Would you be happy with? Of course, I'd be thrilled with either one of those two guys. Thrilled. Boldo, I don't know what number he's going to wear. Somebody asked me that earlier. I don't know. I have no idea. He's not going to wear 8. Daniel Jones is going to be 8. Chris says, however, for me, I think pick 30. I think that's the earliest that if I'm Joe Shane, which I'm not, but if I was Joe Shane, I think pick 70 would be where I would start to consider a running back. I think either pick 70 or 100 or 107 or whatever it is. One of those two picks, I think I would probably target a running back. But I wouldn't do it before then. Let's see. But guys, it's already 2:30. I wanted to hang out for a bit while I had some time. I want to save my voice a little bit because I'm going to have to go live from 6:30 till probably about 11. And then I'll probably do what I always do and recap it for an hour with you guys on the channel. So I'm going to be live all day today. And then I'll be live again, obviously, day 3. Day 3 will be quicker because Giants don't have a 7th round pick. But I'll be live tonight, guys. So I just want to hang out with you guys. I know a lot of people are thinking about the draft, leading up into the draft. A lot of us are bored leading up into it. I wanted to come on here, recap day 1, talk a little bit about day 2, but we'll get our answers in 4.5 hours. So we're really starting to get our answers in terms of what the New York Giants are going to do. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how the New York Giants continue to fill out this roster. And I love the direction of this football team this offseason, right? I love what they did in free agency. They get Brian Burns. They improved the offensive line. And now we'll see how they continue to fill their holes today. Obviously, corner. I think corner, defensive line, and offensive line. I think that's where we look with these 2 picks, if I had to guess. I think it'll be those 3 positions. 2 of those picks will be those 3 positions. Defensive line, corner, offensive line. That's what I predict going into day 2. But, hey, maybe they shock us. Maybe they do take a Spencer Rattler at pick 47 or pick 70. Or maybe they do take a running back at 47 or a tight end. Not out of the realm of possibility. But that's where I'm at. I think we'll go corner and D-line or corner and O-line. That's where I'm at with these 2 picks. But we'll see. But, guys, you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'm sure I'll see a lot of you guys in a little bit. I'm going to get some beer for the stream tonight. I'm looking forward. We're going to have some fun tonight, guys. Let's get a couple more good players. Do you think Drew Lock has a chance to start? I'll answer that real quick. My answer is no. I think Daniel Jones is going to be the starter, like Joe Shane has said all along. But what I will say is this. I think the difference this year is if Daniel Jones is bad, and I'm not talking about 1 game. I'm not talking about even 2 games. But if Daniel Jones is bad for 5 games, 6 games, and they truly feel Drew Lock gives them the better chance to win, I don't think Daniel Jones has to get hurt to be replaced. If Daniel Jones is playing really bad and they feel like Drew Lock gives them a better chance to win, I do think they would make a change. But I don't think they would. I think to start the year, if Jones is ready to go, he is going to be the starter. That's my thought process and my prediction going into the year. But guys, you guys have a great rest of your day. And still talking about DJ. Well, he's the quarterback, right? Why wouldn't we talk about DJ? Plays the most important position on our football team. But guys, have a great rest of your day. And we'll talk soon. Have a good one, guys.